is 30. So I was being wrong somewhere. You are live now. Okay, so just in case you are watching, okay, this is what I was waiting for, to get the notification. Okay, got it. This is what I was waiting for, to get the notification that I'm live on Facebook. So just in case you are going to be live watching this video live, in today's video, we are going to see how we easily brew a Chemex. Like I told you in today's class, I am still waiting for some participants so that we can easily join them into the class, and we can also commence with our Chemex. So I don't know whether I placed my notes, but okay. I think the video on Facebook would be kind of a little backward, as in it's going to be backward in step. So in today's video, we are going to be brewing a Chemex live. Many have been asking me different questions that how do we brew a Chemex live? How do we make craft brews? How do we come up with different ratios? How do we come up with the right recipes for the Chemex? But surprisingly, I have these videos on my YouTube channel, which is at Barista Andrea. So just in case you want to watch these videos, how you can easily create craft brew recipes, how you can easily create different recipes, how you can easily create latte art, cappuccinos, different videos, a variety. Like I promised you that within these videos, my duty is to make coffee, the coffee environment, very easier to a person who is a barista and to a person who is not a barista. What do I mean by a person who is not a barista? The consumer and the person who is not aware about anything concerning coffee. So today, these are the apparatuses that are in front of me. Like you see, when we are brewing a Chemex, the first thing we have to deal with is the type of coffee. Because once you have, these gadgets are already set. And these gadgets are already set. So what we need to understand is, when I'm brewing my coffee, what do I need? Sorry, when I'm brewing a cup of Chemex, what do I need? I need the right coffee that I am going to use. So basically that takes us back to cupping, it takes us back to roasting, it takes us back to the farmer, everything, because within all the dimensions or the coffee value chain or the coffee chain that the coffee passes through to the barista, to the consumer, you are going to find out that it is affected both positively and negatively in all dimensions, or through all the steps that it passes to the consumer or the final end user. So today I have a very special coffee. It's a very special, as someone is making me laugh, a very special coffee, which is from this coffee is from Ethiopia. This coffee is from Ethiopia, and I basically love coffees from my country or my continent. My country is Ugandan, but I love coffees from my continent. So as you see, this is a box I'm trying to unveil it. So this is an Ethiopian coffee, and within this Ethiopian coffee, it has different flavors. So like we see here, they say it has flavors of chocolate, it has caramel, it has a medium body, it has a strong acidity. So they try to finalize or generalize the flavors that we have here. So someone is watching. Okay. Hello, Singe. Singe is watching. I really don't know. People sending me messages on the other phone, so I really don't know what to do. I should either grab the other phone or use this phone, because messages are coming to the other phone. I think they are trying to ask what is happening. Why are we not joined? So I think, let me see here. The password is registrator. So people still want to join the class as we waiting for members to join the class. I think, yeah, that is the little introduction about this coffee. So just in case you have any question out there, please feel free to ask. It might be about coffee. It might be about anything regarding coffee, kitchen, hotel, service, anything that you would love to do it, anything that you would love to improve on yourself about coffees. All right, so I think I'll respond to people here. What time, dear team? 10 today. What time? It's already on 5 p.m. Where's the link? I think, is this link still working? Let me see. Okay, Don Williams. I think people have started to attend. So like I told you today, we are going to talk about Chemex. So we are waiting for people to join our class, then we can easily attend. All right, so I think people can use that link. It's always the same link. I will never change the link. Mr. Don Williams, welcome. How are you? Mr. Don Williams, I can't hear you. I think his audio. Let me see. Oh, many people are waiting to be admitted. Wow, this is lovely. Okay, Mr. Don Williams, you're welcome. I see Galaxy A21, I see Tekino K9, I see TCL. All these people have been waiting to join. I think let's have a small introduction about everyone, though they are hiding. I don't know. Mr. Don Williams.
Yo.
Which environment are you sitting in? I'm good.
I'm moving.
Huh?
I'm at work.
Oh, I get it. Oh, that's lovely. So just give us a little introduction. Just a little introduction about yourself, because many people watching this video live on Facebook and they want to know the kind of people we are dealing with, especially when it comes to coffee. So tell us about you, Mr. Don.
Hey, okay. Let me connect my headset and I talk.
Okay, no problem. I see.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, my name is Williams. You can call me Don. I'm a barista.
Okay.
And I work with a Buera Bistro.
Okay, that's nice. So Mr. Tekino K9, I think Mr. Tekino K9, are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting it.
How are you?
I'm okay, bro.
Okay, that's great. I'll tell the people about you. What's your name? Because we only see Tekino.
I'm Bakat Ismail.
Okay, that's great. Where are you working in currently?
I'm working in Oman.
Okay, Oman. That's great. I see Mr. Either a she or he, TCL. TCL, can you hear us properly? I think he'll be just watching the video. Okay,
yes, my brother Andre,
so Mr. Don. Oh, how are you? TCL, today you decided to change your name. People would love to see you. Okay.
Here.
Mr. Hassan.
They
Okay.
did not change my name.
Okay. The name changed from Restraint of 5 to TCL to Hassan. Huh?
Yeah, they're all my names.
Okay, that's great. So, guys, I think most of us have a clue about a Chemex, because basically in today's video, I want us to talk about a Chemex. That's why you see these different machines and apparatuses in front of me. I have recorded this video from home. So don't ask me why I have a manual grinder, why I have this small weighing scale, and a 1 cup Chemex. So today I've decided to record from home. So I think Mr. Hassan, tell us something before I start. Tell us something about this Chemex, because you're one of the professional coffee facilitators we know.
Well, thanks for the opportunity, bro.
Okay.
A Chemex like any other drip filtration method, drip over, or I'd say a Chemex falls under a method or a technique of brewing called drip filtration.
Okay.
In drip filtration, this is where we use hot water over the coffee. So we pour hot water over the coffee. And in drip filtration, we mostly use hot water, and we use filter medium like the paper filter, the metal filter, and then what we call the cloth filter. But specifically for the Chemex, we need to consider, when we're doing a Chemex, one, we need to consider the elements below. We need to consider the brew ratio. We need to consider the filter medium we're going to use. We can choose to use a metal filter, a cloth filter, or a paper filter. I don't know what you're going to use today from my brother and Lee, but
I have my paper filters here.
yeah, good. So today we're going to use a filter paper. And when we're doing a Chemex, we use what we call medium coarse grind. When you're doing this manual brewing gadget or craft brews, we need to be careful with the grind sizes, because they also affect the taste of our coffee. And furthermore, about the filter papers, we need to use mostly the bleached paper filters, because with the bleached paper filters, they have less of paperly taste. So the one Mr. Andre is having is a bleached one. So at least we shall get what I'm saying properly.
Okay.
And two, we need to consider the contact time. How many minutes are you going to use? So you need to be careful with the contact time. Another thing what you need to consider is the agitation or turbulence. So the method of turbulence you use depends on you. Either you use what we call constant pouring, or you use what we call steering, where you do have maybe a spoon or a stirrer. So you need to consider that. And also, we need to consider the blooming stage, or what we call the first pour, because during the blooming stage, that's when we determine our taste, help us to degas our coffee, to pre-brew our coffee, so that the water circulates properly in all our coffee grinds. So, so we need to be careful with those. That's how much I can give you before we start. So we're ready for you, sir.
Wow, it's like you've said everything. We're just waiting for the practical. You've explained everything. Mr. Techno, can I tell us something about the Chemex? What do you know about the Chemex?
So actually, this is my first time to see something about Chemex.
Are you sure you don't have it you don't have this apparatus at your coffee station?
No, we don't have. So for us, we do P60, Aeropress, Siphon.
Okay.
Only that.
Oh, what of Mr. Don Williams? Mr. Don Williams, I think, is off. He has gone off. I don't know. Mr. Don Williams, can you hear us? Okay. All right. So tell us something about Chemex.
And I've also never done Chemex before.
Okay.
I'm also learning.
Okay, you're just learning. So basically, I think like you've had Mr. Hassan. Mr. Hassan, I really like people visiting your school. First, tell us about your school before we go ahead.
Well, our school is called the Coffee Lab. We do train baristas to acquire different skills. We basically do specialty coffee. In the specialty coffee, that's where we talk more about manual brewing. And our school is located on Obsama Road. That's off Entebbe Road around Shell Cars. And you can find us on Facebook, The Coffee Lab. And on Instagram, we are The Coffee Lab UG. Or you can WhatsApp us on +256 789 15 2804. So that's who we are, and we shall be waiting for all of you to serve you. At least we shall offer our services, and our services are good.
I think that will be my first school to pay a visit when I come back home next year. Hope I'll be invited next year to your school.
We are eagerly waiting for you, my brother.
So I'm trying to adjust my grinder here slowly, like manual grinders. You have to be very, very careful with them while adjusting them, because it's not like an automatic machine or these electric machines where you are going to just do what? Where you are going to just set it and then twist to cause to different grades, So I bought this recently when I needed to take different kinds of coffee, when I wanted to test some coffees at home. So I had to buy this grinder, though some of my baristas laughed at me that I'm going now at the old stage. Anyway, guys, welcome. Like we said that in today's video, we are going to be talking about basically Chemex. Truth is that I didn't know much about Chemex, not until Mr. Hassan had a very nice explanation for me towards this Chemex. I was also gambling. But the reason as to why I love Chemex, to me, it's the simplest coffee that taught me how to drink coffee. You get it? In that due to its characters, especially when it comes to the body, when it comes to the flavors, when it comes to the acidity, everything is not all that strong like for a Chemex, like for a V60 or other immersioned processed coffees. You get my point? Mr. Hassan, just to ask you a question, how many times do you pour water into a cup when you brew Chemex? How many times do you pour water?
Basically, we do two times.
Okay.
The first one, that's the blooming stage.
The blooming stage.
And then the last one, we pour the remaining water to reach our yield. So at the blooming stage, we pour twice the amount of our dose. What do I mean by pouring twice the amount of the dose? For instance, if you choose a dose of, let's say 25, I'm just giving an example. So we shall pour twice the amount of the dose. So 25 times 2, that's the amount of water we are going to pour for the blooming stage or the first stage. And then the second pour, we shall finish the remaining water in accordance to our brew ratio and the yield you want to achieve.
Okay. So as I'm finalizing here, Mr. Hassan, still, that they say, when rain falls, you have to start farming. You get it? So you are the rain in the show today. So I want to ask you something, Mr. Hassan. Basically, when it comes to ratios,
Bro, send you the invoice.
Pardon? No problem.
I'm going to send you the invoice.
No problem. So,
okay, what's your question?
Many of us baristas, especially who send me messages, are asking me that we talk about ratios. We talk about a ratio of 1 to 15, a ratio of 1 to 12. but they really don't understand what this ratio means or how we come up with this ratio.
Well, for the ratios, we have a theory or practicals that I don't know, because I remember one day you did a video on how to calculate
Sure.
ratios, right?
Sure, sure, sure.
But just in a short while, like to make matters like easily, we have what we call the golden ratios. You get for
The golden
baristas,
what?
for like Mr. Techno,
the golden ratios.
Okay. So how are they?
So these golden ratios are 1 to 15 and 1 to 16. So in case you happen to go for
1 to 15,
or you don't know how for your recipe, yeah, or 1 to 16.
okay.
So these ones, they can help if you're there and you don't know what to do next.
Okay.
So if you get a given ratio, but in most cases, for ratios for manual brewing, they start from you can use from 1 to 10 until 1 to 40, depending on the gadget you're using and how much coffee you want to get and how many cups of coffee you want to serve. So you need to get a ratio in accordance to the amount of coffee you want to produce. And also when you're choosing a ratio, you need to be careful, because if you choose a bigger ratio, it means you're going to pour a lot of water in your coffee. And as you put in too much water in your coffee is going to be dilute. It's not going to be concentrated. So you need to be careful if you're choosing your ratios, because it's from the ratios that we get the yield. So it's better to be flexible when you're choosing your ratios.
Okay. Then that's great, because me basically when I'm taking, it depends on any kind of coffee that I've received, but when I'm taking, when it's my first coffee, the basic ratio I use is 1 to 17. That is the basic ratio that I use, me personally. You get it? And last, as we finish, as we set up our thing, I am going to kindly steal again another knowledge from you. Basically, Mr. Hassan, how long should a Chemex take, and what are the water temperatures for a Chemex?
Well, for the water temperature, it depends on your coffee first. And two, you can use from 88 degrees Celsius to around 93 degrees Celsius. Yeah, most people say until 95, but that is too much hot for a brew, for the manual brewing. 95, it's okay for espresso, but remember this coffee is drunk immediately after it's done. So those temperatures will be high. So I'd recommend using 88 degrees Celsius to 93 degrees Celsius. And for the contact time, or the brew time, I'd recommend using 2 to 4 minutes. But basically 2.5 minutes. Yeah, 2.5 minutes are enough for a Chemex. But remember, it depends on how much coffee you want to serve, because maybe you may be serving more than 2 cups, and the amount of water you're putting in may not be done within 2.5 minutes. You get, but basically it's between the range of 2 to 4 minutes. You can play from there.
Okay, so that is lovely. Now, what if I brew my coffee and it comes, when I brew a Chemex and it comes to 1 minute and 40 seconds, how do you take that coffee to be?
Well, if it's 1 minute and 40 seconds, let's say, your coffee is going to be light.
Okay. So
there might be a problem with your grind size. And if not so, with your pour. If, for instance, we are supposed to use a medium course for our Chemex, and then your grind size or particle size is a bit bigger until coarse, eventually your water is going to run faster. Hence, that reduction in time.
think the network is on and off.
And then the result of the coffee is going to be watery and yes, bro. And 40 seconds.
Network,
oh, I mean 1 minute and 40 seconds
off.
after finishing your coffee. The network is doing what?
It was on and off, but now I can hear you. It's okay.
Okay. I was saying that if at 1 minute and 40 seconds, I think your coffee will be under extracted. So you will not have gotten all the flavors that you need from that given sample of coffee. So if it's like that, you'll need to adjust your grinder at least a little bit finer. By the time it finishes at 1 and 40 minutes, 1 and 40 seconds, a bit coarser than what you're supposed to get. So at the end of the day, the taste of your coffee is not going to be good. It might taste a bit more of watery and lighter than what you're supposed to get.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. So I think I'm done. So basically, truth is that I have a blessing. It's like this is a blessing under this days whereby we have a tutor, we have a facilitator, Mr. Hassan, who has helped me or who has loosened the weight for me when we are going to talk about the Chemex. That's why I love the guys who came in first. I think you've got all the knowledge, and just in case you still asking more on how to meet Mr. Hassan, Mr. Hassan is the CEO of. Tell us, Mr. Hassan, about your CEO, then at the school, then we start the practical bit of it.
Yeah, I'm from the Coffee Lab, and we are located on Busaba Road. That's off Entebbe Road, Kampala, Uganda. And you can find us on Facebook, the Coffee Lab, and then on Instagram, we are the Coffee Lab UG. You can send us a message, we respond quickly, and on WhatsApp, you can find us on +256 789 15 28 04. That's how you can get us, and then we connect for coffee business.
Okay, that's really great. So let's get into this thing. Madam Rashida, you're most welcome. Mr. Ediga, we have Mr. Kayemba, Techno, and Williams, not forgetting Mr. Hassan. So today's moderator will be me, Barista Andrea. And like you see, I promised you that in today's video, we are going to look at the Chemex. This is one of the special craft brews that people love enjoying, especially in the Middle East, in Africa, in Asia, and not forgetting other continents. Even the aliens enjoy the Chemex, or if they don't, I'll make them enjoy. So what are the equipments that we need while we are going to brew our coffee? Mostly there are baristas who use a term extracting in craft brews. The term extracting, I don't think it's right to be used while you are brewing. So it's better you say brewing, because basically extracting, it's a term used while you try to use pressure on a given coffee, like the mocha pot or the, let me say the espresso and many other beverages that use pressure while you are trying to do what? While you are trying to extract. So someone is going to ask me, when you talk about pressure on the espresso and the mocha pot, what is the Chemex? So basically, the Chemex uses the gravitational force. Every time the process or the method of brewing, which is the pour over, every time we try to pour the water, or it doesn't matter how many times or this recipe that you're using, but every time you try to pour the water is really going to lift the coffee up, then it's going to use the gravitational force to take it back onto the paper filter surface while it's trying to brew the cup of coffee. Hope I'm right, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the items we need? We need, the first thing is the Chemex. Then we have the weighing scale. Not every weighing scale is going to work for you while you are trying to brew. It doesn't matter. You can have a single weighing scale. When I talk about a single weighing scale, that is a weighing scale where you are going to put, and it only any vessel, and it gives you only grammages or the kilograms or the liters. But a double scale is that scale that has two dimensions. It has the timing and it has the kilograms. So that is the basic scale that we use. But if you don't have this scale, you can use your phone to act as your timer. Then we need a grinder. Many of us have different grinders, especially at workplaces or even at homes. But I decided to buy this manual grinder that really helps me give me the different flavors that I look for, and it really grinds it freshly. So we are going to still need our pepper filters. Like Mr. Hassan said, we have different pepper filters. We have cloth pepper filters, metallic pepper filters, and metallic filters, cloth filters, and the pepper filters. Then we are going to need the basic thing, which is the coffee. It doesn't matter where or which farm you got the coffee from, but it's all about understanding the kind of coffee that you are using. Then still don't forget the spoon that we are going to use to either stir, or the spoon is going to help you in different numbers. One time, guys watching this video, one time a person asked me while I was recording a video making a Chemex, making a V60. The person asked me, why do you stir in the coffee? I basically don't stir into the coffee when I am brewing 1 cup. But the reason as to why I stir in coffee, mostly I get orders more than 1 cup, which is 2 cups, 3 cups, and I have to make it, or I have to brew it at one time. So at the moment you see me getting the spoon to stir, most of the coffees don't have the water or have not been saturated by the right amount of water. So when you get the spoon to stir into the coffee, it might be gently 3 times. You are going to see some coffee grounds that have not yet attained or articulated the amount of water or the right water. So you are going to find them dry. So that's the purpose of using the spoon. Then this is the vessel where we are going to place our beverage. So I think we can easily get started. So guys, do we have any other question before we get started? Mr. Edgar? I think we're okay. Mr. Hassan, any question? Take it off.
Not really. Not really.
Okay, so basically, since I'm home, I'll begin by placing my vessel. I'll begin by switching on my weighing scale. Right now, the camera is in a kind of distant, but you can see the green screen that is already lighting. So this green screen, once I switch on and off, it lights. So then I have to give it a second for it to reset itself. So right now it has reset. So I have a button for the time, start and stop. Then I have a button that tallies the grammages. So I'll place on our vessel, then get our pepper filter. So Chemex has a number of pepper filters. Right now, I may have only one kind of pepper filter, but you are going to find already folded pepper filters. So when you find a pepper filter like this, how are you going to fold it? Remember, a Chemex is very, very complicated when it comes to pepper filters. You must fold it until you get 4 dimensions. And remember, the 3 dimensions have to sit on this channel where the beverage comes from, or the beverage is poured from. So I'll get my pepper filter like you see. It's time to fold it. Many don't know how to fold this pepper filter, but like you see this ham, I will call it a ham from a rod. Like you see this ham, I will fold it so that I get a straight rod or a straight line, like you see. So this is a straight line. And when we change it, you'll see this ham, it's already folded. Then I will go ahead to make sure that I fold it into, I really don't know how they call these kinds of, is it a cone? Something like this. I think this is a cone. So I'm going to, this is our second time. So this is the first time. This is the second time. But remember, this ham is outside, like you see. Don't fold it and put it inside. No, that's not right. It has to be outside of the cone. So like you see, it's outside. Because once you put it inside, it's going to hold coffee grounds, or it's going to hold the water and it won't easily allow it to pass through the pepper filter. So after making the first fold, then we are going to still make the second fold. So this is our second fold, like you see. So if we were to count the dimensions, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and a 4. So these are 4 peppers that we get to count. So we have to make sure, we have to get a point where our coffee, where we are going to pour our coffee. Don't pour your coffee. I think Rashida is, I think I'll mute Rashida just a minute. Okay, ask to mute. So don't pour your coffee. Just make sure that you pour your coffee in the right place. You might pour your coffee here and it's going to pass through the what? The Chemex. You might pour your coffee still here and it's going to pass through the Chemex. But where is the right position? You count the first one, the second one off. So the third one where it falls from correctly, that is where, like you see, you can't see any hole inside. So this is where we are going to pour our coffee. So the third peppers are based on one side and we have one pepper segment on the other side. So we shall slightly give it a fold and place it in our Chemex. So like you see, that is how the three sections are on the what? On the channel that allows our beverage to pass through. Then after doing all that process, I'll put it back on the weighing scale and I'll weigh to tell, because the only way I have to tell that is when I am going to place the coffee into the Chemex. So guys, I know you're baristas, but don't laugh at my percolator that I use, and I don't have a thermometer at the moment, but this is just for demonstration. You get my point, huh? Okay, so right now I can't easily measure the temperatures due to the fact that I don't have a thermometer, but due to the skill or the experience that I have, I'll use the 3 fingers. Remember, when I'm steaming, I can easily gauge the temperatures, the different temperatures of the cappuccino, of the latte, or even the cortado. So I'll just place my hand slightly, then I get to know, to understand. Now, this finger is already burning. The middle finger is already burning. Basically, it might be the right temperature, because once you place your finger, the middle finger, onto a hot beverage and it gets burnt, you are going to find out that it's at least above 80 degrees Celsius. You get my point? So that is the technique that I use when I'm at home. Then the other thing, when it comes to the percolator, most of us baristas are making a mistake when we are putting water into the percolator. You are going to find out that most of the baristas placing water into the percolator and it comes onto the full point. Remember, we have different pounds into this arm. We have baristas, or we have people who can't lift this using their wrist, only the wrist. Because remember, even when you're pouring anything, you use the wrist. So I would advise any barista, when you're going to make, even if it's, especially okay, when it's 1 cup, at least pour water halfway. Because even when you're pouring the water into the vessel, it's not going to be hard. But if you pour too much water, it's really going to be hard for you to regulate the amount of water or the flow of water that pours into the Chemex. So the other step, after understanding the water and the temperature, we are going to start pre-wetting our pepper filter. Because remember, this pepper filter has different tests also, that if you brew your coffee using this pepper filter without pre-wetting it, you are going to have the, I think we call them the external factors. Mr. Hassan, am I right? The external factors that are going to engage into the coffee?
Yeah. Actually,
yeah, we call
it's basically what you call the pepperly taste or the pepperly smell.
Okay. So, okay, thank you very much. So if, like Mr. Hassan has told you, these are the peppery tastes or the peppery smell. So let me take you back to the temperature of water again. I remember when Mr. Hassan was starting this video, he said that, guys, the temperature is best from 88 to, let me say, 93 degrees. I think that's what you said, not so, Mr. Hassan?
Yes.
Okay, so that is really right, because many baristas have it in mind that every drink that is brewed, the water temperatures have to be 92 degrees. That's what most of the baristas know, and that's what most of the baristas understand. You go to a coffee shop, every coffee shop that I've attended to, and it has a Ugandan, a Kenyan, an Arab, or any other person, they say the standard is 92. And when you get to test their coffee, it's really very hot. You can't easily find out the different flavors that you are looking for, or the different tastes that you're looking for. And we tend to forget that there are those coffees that really get to give you the nice flavors and different flavors at 88, 85 degrees. So it's all about you understanding your coffee, not forgetting the coffee density. You get my point, guys. So the temperature also really affects your coffee when it comes to basically brewing. Remember, these are the most specialty coffees that we get to serve or we get to enjoy, guys. So let's not waste time. I think when we start talking about coffee, we can't stop. So I don't know whether I should stand, or I think I should stand because I really can't brew when I am sitting. So I think, guys, I'll just, let me just bring my camera close, and we get the right picture of what we need. I think I'll extend it. Let me see if, guys, just a minute. Let me try to locate my camera to see whether we can get the right picture of what we really need. Sorry. Okay. I'm trying to make sure that at least we get something beautiful. So guys, can we, okay, let me see, when I place it here, when I give it a change. Guys, can we see clearly there?
Yes, bro.
We can see clearly, because me, I'll be out of this video now, for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so like we see, just a minute, okay, there we go. So we are going to start pre-wetting, and while you are pre-wetting, you have to do this gently. Most of the baristas have a tendency, you're going to find him shaking. Shaking is, it's a factor that is caused due to lack of confidence. You get it, guys? So I'll begin by slightly. You know, this is not the right percolator to use, but I'll try my best to do what? To get something that we really need. Okay, I think that's it. So after pre-wetting, the aroma that we get from the pepper, it's too much peppery. So once this aroma gets to blend itself with the coffee, trust me, you are really going to get something negative out of the what? Out of the pepper filter. So as we're trying to pre-wet our pepper filter, still, it's helping us pre-wet or preheat our vessel. So I'll give it a little tilt. Some of us have a tendency of removing this pepper filter, which is not bad, but you have to be perfect. Remember, these hands also attain different elements that may affect the coffee. So most of us have a tendency, I'll get this vessel. I can either pour, and once your water comes out nicely, that basically means that you have placed in your pepper filter very nicely. But others, some of us have a tendency of first removing the pepper filter, like you see, then you pour out the water. You get it? But this might be, I think, I don't know, but this might be a factor that is really going to bring different flavors into your coffee. I think, I don't know where the sound is coming from. It's really too much. Okay, so like we said, so now we are done with our pre-wetting, and I'll place my vessel aside. So remember, this is the vessel where we are going to pour our beverage after. So I'll just pour a little hot water so that we get to pre-wet it. Most of you use paper cups while you are doing what? While you are making for your clients or customers, still it's nice to do it, to pre-wet those paper cups, because most of the paper cups have different paper tests. You might think that you've pre-wetted the paper filter, but even the cup is not pre-wetted. So you are going to still affect your coffee in the same way. So we are done with our what? With our pre-wetting. So right now I am going to grind my coffee. This coffee grinder, if you don't have energy, if you don't eat posho all Monday, you are really going to be in problems. So you have to use energy. So like you see, it's not all that too much energy, but you have to be at least eating very well. Right? Like I eat hummus, I eat shawarma, so I find myself having some energy. All right, so we are grinding, and when we are grinding, our coffee hopper is this one with this manual what? With this manual grinder. So I would love to hear from Mr. Hassan. Mr. Hassan, I want to use your ratio. How many grams do you want me to use?
Well, the grams of the dose depends on
the basic grams.
The vessel. How much can it carry?
Basically, it can carry.
Pardon me?
It can carry 300 mils. That's 1 cup, roughly.
How much?
It can carry 1 cup. Let's estimate it to be 300 mils or grams.
300 mils.
Okay.
So you can use 20 as your dose.
Okay. So you want me to use
and
20
then,
as my dose.
And then you can use, let's say, a ratio of 1 to 15.
Okay.
So that means 20 times 15, you'll get 300.
So I use 20 grams, then the output has to be 300. Okay, the yield.
Yeah, using a ratio of 1 to 15.
So 1 to 15, when we use the ratio of 1 to 15, basic, okay, that is right. So I'm going to use 20 grams. Okay, so right now I will tell, and when I tell, this is our timer and this is our grammage. So I am going to pour 20 grams of coffee into our, so like you see the grains are also a little bit coarse, medium. Most of us use medium coarse, most of us use coarse, but it has at least to be in between the medium and the coarse so that it gives you the right extract or the right brew that you want to get, or the perfect cup that you're looking for. So I'll give it a towel and start. All right, I think I'll towel. Then I'll give it a slight pour up to 20 grams. Hope guys you can see clearly. Okay, that is 6. Guys, if you've not yet got this grinder, you better get it because it's one of the best. So that is 11 so far, and we are looking for 20 grams. I think this is dancing. I'll first put it aside. Okay, so I'll put it back. It's still at 11. Then we are looking for 20 grams. 13, 15, 17, 18, 19. Okay, just a 4.6, sorry, 8.4. That's what we're looking for. All right, so it's 20.4. That's good. So guys watching this video, many baristas have a tendency that since my coffee, I wanted to brew 20 grams and it has passed with 21 grams. To remove the 1 gram, most of the baristas do this. They catch into the coffee or they touch the coffee and they put the coffee aside. I wouldn't advise any barista doing that because I don't trust my hygiene myself. So what of the customer is going to see you doing that? These hands have different flavors have different elements, they have different germs that are really going to be an external factor towards your coffee. So baristas doing that, at least have a spoon, a dry spoon by your side, and reduce on your coffee, put it aside. You get it, guys? So after having the right amount of coffee, then I am going to towel. After toweling, the only thing I have to weigh is the water. So this side is going to weigh the water, and this side I am supposed to start the timing. But guys, Mr. Hassan said, we are going to use 20 grams. That is right, we are going to use the 20 grams, but the first thing we are going to do is the blooming. When I put 20 grams, what is the amount of water that I'm going to use for blooming at the first stage? And when I put the amount of blooming, how many seconds does it take for the blooming process to take place? So I'll give it a towel again to confirm. Then what I am going to do, since we've used 20 grams, I'll first give it a little shake to distribute it evenly within the paper filter. And I am going to start pouring our water gently and nicely. But since we use 20 grams, the blooming water has to be 40 grams. Okay, taking noise coming back. The blooming water has to be 20 grams. You get it, guys? So, sorry, the blooming water has to be 40 grams. Since we've poured 20 grams into the what? 20 grams into the vessel, we are going to start pouring with a blooming water, which is going to be 40 grams. And not forgetting the timing, the blooming water has to be the same with the blooming time. So if we pour 40 grams, then we are going to give it 40 seconds to bloom. So Mr. Hassan, I have one question for you before I start the blooming. And let me first get my percolator. Now, Mr. Hassan, let me say, you told us to use 20 grams and the blooming water is supposed to be 40 grams, not forgetting that the seconds have to be 40 seconds. Now, what if I have a vessel and I have an order that I'm supposed to brew? You get it? And while I am doing that, let me say there are 2 cups. That basically means basically I'm going to use 40 grams. What is the timing and how many grams of water am I going to pour there? In the 2 cups, 40 grams.
Well, the thing is, bro, if you're doing 2 cups, for instance, and your dose is 40 grams, bro.
Hello, network is off and on. Okay.
Your dose is 40 grams, right?
Okay.
So it means your first pour, or what you call the blooming stage, you need to pour twice the amount of your dose.
Which is 80.
Yeah, which is 80.
Okay.
But the time can be constant depending on the type of beans of the coffee you're dealing with.
Okay.
So the time can be constant, but the water should be twice the amount of the dose you're using. Because if you want also to change the time because of the cups, you're going to use a lot of time and you may yield a coffee which is not having a good taste.
Oh, I get it. I get it now. Okay, that's
because
right. So let's continue.
I can add on is,
okay.
Mr. Andre,
Okay.
yeah,
you can go ahead.
What I can add on is when you're doing a blooming, you need to be careful with how much water you add in. Most baristas have a constant where they're using only 50, but at times you may need to use more powder, like the dose is more than 50. The reason as to why we are pouring, in this case, we use 20 as our dose. The reason as to why we are pouring 40, because we don't want our coffee to dry out fast before our time is reached. You get because if we use, for instance, 20 grams of dose, that's 20 grams of powder, and then you use 20 grams of the water, it means your coffee is going to dry out fast before your time is reached. And then what's going to be happen to your coffee? Your coffee is not going to taste well. The taste is not going to be good. So you need to pour twice the amount of the dose.
Okay. All right, that is, I hope guys are watching this video live on Facebook. Those who are in the class, we are trying to get something. Yes, you might ask me, why is your coffee taking long into the paper filter? Basically, this is for the education purposes. When I'm making my orders, this is not what I do. But for more clarification, for the questions that I get to ask, one of the best tutors, Mr. Hassan, is to make you understand the real thing about the Chemex. So let's go ahead. So I'm going to tell, and remember we use 20 grams. So I pour, I have to start my timing, and I have to pour 40 grams. So I'll start my timing. One, then I'll start the pour gently while I am looking at the grams. Oh, that's 40. It's passed by. It's 46, but due to the percolator that I'm using, it had to throw out some water. So, like you see, while what we call blooming, this is a process whereby coffee is losing one of different gases, most especially the carbon dioxide. So when it loses off these gases, it helps it do what? When it loses off the gases, the unwanted gases, it's trying, to my point, I think it's trying to oxidize due to the pour over method, or due to the method that we are going to, that we are using. So we are counting. It's almost there. I will explain some of the things later. So let's continue with our pour. So we are going to carry over with 2 pours. The first is blooming. Then the second one, we are going to pour up to 300 to see. So I'll pour up to 300. I'm trying to be as gentle as I can while using this percolator. So that's 100, gentle, slowly. Guys, don't laugh at my pour due to the fact that I'm using the incorrect percolator, but I think you just get the picture. So we are pouring up to 300. And there we go. It's 302, but that's not bad. So this is a stage where most of us get a spoon and stir to have a very perfect saturation, or some of us do like this. You twist or you give it a little shake to have that flat surface, or to evenly distribute our water into the what? Into the vessel. Hope I'm right, guys. Okay, so I've tried my best to illustrate with this disturbing percolator, and we are waiting. It's still brewing, or it's still trying to have the perfect cup that we are looking for. And it's 2 minutes and 25, 6, 7. It still has driplets that are still coming out, but that's not bad. So we shall give it a stop at this minute. So it has taken roughly 2 minutes and 33 seconds. So Mr. Hassan, kindly, as I'm preparing my my camera to come back to a distance, kindly tell us something about what has happened.
Okay, my brother. Well, we saw the process, and we were doing a Chemex. Initially, I told you that when you're doing a Chemex, we need to consider these factors below. Or when we're doing manual brewing, we consider these factors below. I saw Mr. Techno K9 writing somewhere. I guess you may need this on your notes. When we're doing these manual brewing gadgets, we need to follow these, what you call the coffee variables. They are like 5 to 6. First, the filter medium. When you're choosing the filter medium, you need to choose the appropriate filter medium. In this case, for our Chemex, Mr. Andre prepared for us a paper filter. And this paper filter was a bleached paper filter. I'll give you an insight about these paper filters. We have bleached paper filters and unbleached paper filters. To get this clearly, bleached paper filters are the ones which are white in color. The unbleached ones are the ones which are brown in color. Like the one we use is bleached. So Mr. Andre was when he was folding this filter paper, he made sure that we have a side with 3 layers and then another one with a single layer. Normally, when you're doing our chemics, we need to make sure that we put the side with 3 layers on the spout. Mr. Andre, help me touch on that spout.
This one?
Yeah, so that's the side where we put the 3 layers. Why? Because if you put there the single layer, it can easily break, or the water can easily, and if it passes outside of the coffee, we shall get either the paper test, or our coffee is going to be light with more water, because the water is not going through the coffee, it's going outside the coffee. So you need to be careful when you're arranging your paper filter. Make sure always to put the 3 layers on the side of the spout. Another thing, when you're doing these manual brewing or craft brews, we need to consider what we call the water quality, the quality of your water. Because when you're considering the water quality, we need to talk about the TDS and the pH. You need to know the pH of your water and the TDS of your water. Another thing that you need to consider is what we call the technique. Technique here, I'm talking about the agitation or constant pouring. Agitation, what Mr. Andre did at the last when he used a spoon to stir, that's what we call agitation or turbulence, where you're giving the coffee a little disturbance for proper circulation of the water and even extraction. So you need to consider that too. And then also we talked about the water temperature, and then you need to consider also coffee to water ratio and the grind size. So another thing is that when you're doing these manual or craft brews or manual brewing, you need to be, it's you in control. Actually, they are called, we're doing what we call, we are removing automation out of coffee brewing. You get, like, you don't use any machine, it's you to maintain the taste of that coffee. So you need to be careful. More so when you're pouring. When you're pouring your coffee, for instance, in a V60, in a Chemex like the one we did, you need to use what we call circular motion and use what we call constant pouring. Don't break the pour, because once you break the pour, you're not going to be consistent. And whichever mistake you do at any stage, the result will be seen in your cup, in your yield. When the people are taking it, they will see the variances. So we need to be careful with those points. I guess you can start from there, my brother.
All right, so I think, sorry for engaging you too much into today's session, because the reason as to why I engaged you too much into this session, first is that all along I've been trying to connect these live video Zoom classes onto my Facebook page, because I have been uploading them and it has really been disturbing me. But through that process of uploading them, many have been sending me questions about the school, and I have to first copy the number again, send the number of the school, things like that. So like I told you that it's a blessing under disguise. When you came, I was like, okay, since Mr. Hassan is here, it's high time to do what? Yeah. It's high time to engage him, since it's our first time going live on my Facebook page using our class. So that's why I had to engage you more, so that people can have a closer look at you. You get my point?
Thank you so much. Actually, it's my pleasure. And yeah, it's my pleasure. And I'm humbled to be here, by the way. I'm honored that you're giving us this chance, at least to share. And remember, if we share, that's how we can get extra knowledge. You get? So,
that's right.
As they say, sharing is caring. So let's share, that's how we can learn. And we learn from each other, by the way. So thanks for this opportunity.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, guys, like you see, now we are done with Mr. Hassan is from the Coffee Lab. He's in Uganda. So, even if you're in Kenya, even if you're in Rwanda, I have friends in Rwanda who are asking me many questions about coffee. I have friends from Nigeria. I have friends from South Africa. Togo. Yesterday, someone from Cameroon gave me a direct call still asking me things about coffee. So just in case you will watch or you are watching this video, that's Mr. Hassan from the Coffee Lab. It's a very big school where you can easily attain all knowledge about coffee. Even if you won't find a farm at his school, but he'll give you the theory about the farm. You get it? So like you see, we removed our should I call it the coffee cake and the paper filter from the Chemex, and I threw it away. But this is our yield, or this is our result that came out of the Chemex. And due to the fact that you are a barista watching this video, and a customer or a client or the end consumer comes and asks you that, I want a light coffee. I really want a light coffee. This is the first he asks you, I want a light or specialty coffee or a black coffee. This is the first coffee you have to recommend before you recommend a V60. This coffee, many people come with stress, they come with headaches, they come with different thoughts, and this coffee can easily help them relieve everything due to its lightness, due to its different flavors, due to the aromas that it has, and many more that I really can't explain, remember, because the flavors and the tastes and everything comes from what we have previously eaten of or tasted or smelled. So this is the only coffee that you recommend, and it's the coffee that I learned from while enjoying my coffee. So we are done with the brewing. This is our yield, and I think it's time to serve. Our vessel is here, and let me say, this is an 8 ounce cup. Let us see, so 8 ounce, I think I'll have a few left. So basically this can sit in a 9 ounce cup, and our coffee is ready to be served to any client. You get it? So sometimes once you have such coffee left, still as a barista, you can easily get a small cup and test this coffee so that you can confirm the yield that you're going to serve to your client. So I really can't explain a lot about a Chemex because one of the best facilitators in my country, Uganda, has really explained everything. So guys, just in case we have any question out there, we can unmute and we go to our one-on-one or a conversation. Mr. Habad, Madam Rashida, Tekno, Edgar, you can easily ask any question. Guys, Mr. Edgar, how are you?
I'm all right.
Okay, so you can send us the first question.
Yeah, my question would be like this. Can I use direct water from our espresso machine to brew coffee?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very, very nice question. Can you use water from your machine?
Yeah.
Okay, first thing, I have done that too, whereby there are these customers who come, Rush, I want my order, I want to go, what, things like that. You get it? And you are going to find yourself in a dilemma that you really need to use that water. But with the espresso machine, remember, it depends on the temperatures of the water. I don't think that you have a thermometer at that moment that you are going to use. Remember, this is a specialty coffee that can easily be affected either positively or negatively by the temperatures of the what? Of the water. So remember, the water that comes out of the machine, you are going to find out that it's 94 degrees and above, or 90 and above, which is really not going to be suitable for the what? For the brew. So I think I would advise you to have that right percolator. It's called a Barista. I think it's called a Barista, one of the kind. It has the degrees, it has the timing, it has different buttons where you can easily set the water temperature. So in order not to have a dilemma, always have it switched on. And remember, those Baristas have gauges whereby you can easily set it at 90 degrees. So when you press the button, it will blink and it won't reduce the temperature or increase the temperature. So when you easily get the the order, you can easily start the brewing time. So to me, I would not advise to use the espresso machine water. And remember, the more you extract or remove water from the espresso machine, the more you affect it. In the way that sometimes when you over remove water from the espresso machine, you're going to find out that the steam is reducing when you're steaming your cappuccinos or any other beverage. The temperatures of the espressos are also going to reduce due to the fact that the water that you're taking out of the machine needs more time to boil the water that it has extracted into its tanks. Mr. Hassan, can you say something about that? Cheers, I'll enjoy this alone.
Man, that's not nice. You should share this coffee. Well, to my brother Edgar,
Okay.
one thing I can tell you is grinding your coffee, that the coffee you want to use may take you like a few seconds to grind your coffee. Let's say like 10 seconds to grind your coffee to medium cost when you're doing coffee. I mean, when you're going to do a Chemex or V60. Using your espresso water, it wouldn't be nice. Would not be nice because, as Mr. Andre said, the temperatures vary. You get so in your espresso machine, the temperatures might be like 95 degrees Celsius. So if you use the same water, it's going to affect your coffee. What you're going to get what we call coffee scalding. You're going to burn your coffee, and once your coffee is burnt, the taste is going to be bitter. So I'd advise you to always have that barista on stand. So, and in most cases, when you are baristas, you need to program yourself. Know how many chemicals do you serve a day? How many V60s do you serve a day? So in that way, you can know, yeah, at least in a daily, I have this and this, let's say 20 V60s and 20 chemics. So you need to keep you need to keep your water on standby. When someone comes, just place it on and then grind your coffee. By the time you're done with grinding your coffee, your water will be done already. And then you start the brewing process. Easy like that, my brother.
So you are not advised to use the espresso machine water. So just in case your boss is stubborn, just send me his number or call him. So Mr. Herbert Kayemba, do you have any question?
Nothing much.
Raising his hand.
Yes, Mr. Andre.
Okay, you can go ahead.
For me, I just want Mr. Hassan to talk more about those two filter papers because I heard him talking about it, but because of I'm in a ghetto down, the network is off and on, so I didn't get it well. I'm far away from Kampala, so but because I want to be So, Mr. Sani, I want to explain for me more about the two filter paper, the white one and the one which is, it's gray.
Mr. Hassan, did you get that question?
Yeah, I heard him. Well, Mr. Kayemba from the ghetto down there, Danga. The thing is, my brother.
Yes.
When we are brewing coffee, these manual brews, basically the gravitational or the drip filtration method, we have filter papers. And these filter papers, they vary in size depending on how much coffee you're going to brew. And also they vary in shape and also in thickness and in color. So I'll go straight to your point. You're asking about the bleached and unbleached paper filters. The unbleached paper filters are in brown color. I'll take you back. The raw material for papers is wood, and the wood is brown in color, right? So once you see any pepper brown in color, it means it's unbleached. So the white ones are the bleached ones. We encourage you to use the bleached ones or the white ones like the one we've used because it has less of peppery taste. Yes, it has a peppery taste, but it's less compared to the bleached one. To the unbleached one. So you should always try your best to use the bleached pepper filters. Those are the white ones. The brown ones, you can use them, but when you're using them, use a lot of water during pre-wetting, as in when you're rinsing it, or what we call preheating. The first stage, what Mr. Andre did at the first, when you're preheating or rinsing the filter paper, you need to use a lot of water for the unbleached one to remove that peppery taste, my brother. So that's what I think I've done justice to your question, my brother.
Okay, I see. Mr. Kaimba, have you got the answer that you wanted?
Yes, boss. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. So we have Mr. Tekinokenine, I think is on shift and is kind of busy because due to the his environment, I think is on the shift. So guys, I think Mr. Hassan, you can, I think, tell us something as we try to close this session. Mr. Indiga, Mr. Hassan, we can.
Well, what I can add on is that in most cases, when we baristas go for interview, they normally ask us the difference between a V60 and a kmow. That question is common and it's always asked, but the main difference is in the grind size. Okay, what determines the difference is in the grind size, because it's the grind size. I mean, apart from the pepper filters, obviously, because the pepper filters are different, because the one for Chemex is bigger than the one of the V60. But the grind size is the major, because with the grind between medium and coarse, you get. And then for the V60, we're using medium fine. If your coffee is fine, associated with fineness, it means the yield or the resultant coffee that you get after brewing is going to be stronger than the one with medium coarse. So hence, a V60 is a bit stronger than a Chemex. Because with a Chemex, you're going to get what called a clean, light, flavorful cup of coffee. And with a V60, you're going to get a strong, at times a heavy-bodied, creamy cup of coffee. So in short, a V60 is going to be stronger than a Chemex. Why? Because the V60 uses medium fine and a Chemex uses medium coarse, or coarse to medium, around there. So due to the particle sizes, you can get the difference from there. So what I can tell you, my dear baristas, if you have to go higher in a specialty interview, please know basically the difference between a V60 and a Chemex, because sometimes they are mixed. Yeah, so that's how much I can add, my brother.
Oh, that is really, you pointed out something that I've been longing to want to talk about, but due to different things that I have in my head, I tend to forget. Because I think Mr. Hassan, I think next Sunday we should tackle a V60. How do you say that?
It's cool, my brother. It's fine. You can do it.
I think
it's fine
next
with
Sunday,
me, my brother.
Next Sunday, let's tackle a V60, because these are one of the most major basic craft brews that are being sold with different baristas looking for jobs who are abroad. And you're going to find out that these baristas are really facing a challenge of the V60. Today, we've tried to clarify more about the Chemex. So I think next Sunday, let us try to talk about the V60. But I would be delighted if Mr. Hassan takes us through this V60 topic while he's at his school. How do you see it, Edgar?
Sorry?
May I think Mr. Hassan should take us through a V60 next Sunday when he is at his school? How do you see that?
Yeah, it's all right. It should be there. Actually, we'll see how the thing is going.
Sure, because I want my people really to get the picture of the coffee lab so that when they want to visit him, they just go, oh, we saw this place in the video, so I think this is the right place. So, Mr. Hassan, how do you see that?
I'm fine with that one. We shall do it next Sunday, inshallah.
Okay. So I think
Shall do it physically at the cooking lab.
Yeah, I need to see at least because even due to the process of making us the brew, even if it's after the process or before the process, you can give us a light walkthrough whereby you start the video while you are entering the coffee lab. You give us the picture of the setting of the place and what we expect from the coffee lab. How do you say that? So by the time you start the session,
cool, my brother, I shall give it to you.
Oh, okay, no problem. So I think that's what we're going to do. So I think you will give me the setup. Okay, no problem. I'll be waiting for that. So I think that's all from me today. Those people who have, pardon? Hassan, were you saying something?
I was saying that I'm ready for you guys.
Okay, no problem.
Can I bring a submission also?
Okay, no problem.
I'm requesting that we do both AeroPress and the V60 at once, since we'll be at we'll be in the cafe. Okay,
that's a good suggestion. That's a good suggestion, but due to the fact that I wanted us to, because remember when you talk about something, now today we thought that yes, we brew a Chemex for 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 4 minutes, but we've used 1 hour talking about the Chemex. You get it? We've enlightened something. So when we get to mix, I have a plunger here, I have a caliter. So when we get to mix, you're going to find out that we're going to use too much time. So I would suggest we use one by one thing. You get it?
It's all right.
Yeah, let's use one by one so that we give it the right time, the right enlightenment for someone to understand. Yes, and however much Mr. Hassan is going to take us through this session, people watching this video, trust me, let me tell you something. In the previous video that I posted on my, today's video that I posted on my YouTube channel, I said something that I'm forgetting the statement, but it's easy to create with sight, but hard to do with practice. Yeah, that's the statement. Easy to create while you see, but hard to do what? Hard to practice when they tell you to start doing it. So may I think that people watching this video, even if you are in this class, when you watch this video, these videos, take the right time to reach out to these schools so that you can have the elementary or the right practical lectures. Because you will see these videos, you go for the interview, they ask you questions, you are able to answer them, but when they tell you start practicing, you don't have that confidence. So I want you guys to go to the coffee lab, gain the experience, the practical experience, so that you can loosen off the unconfidence that you have in your body. So basically that is it. So Mr. Edgar says it's better we do one. Mr. Herbert says it's better we do one. Yeah, I think we shall do one by one. So next session we shall be having the right honorable Hassan who will be taking us through the V60. And this time make sure that you have light.
I'm going to buy it. Light is there, but I'm enjoying. I don't want to stand up.
Oh, okay. No problem. So I think, by the way, guys, I'm ready for you guys, whereby when I come, I'll make sure that at least we get to expose coffee in my country, Uganda. So I started buying gadgets. I have my wireless microphones. Mr. Hassan, get ready. I have my camera set. I have everything ready. So when we come to my country, we have to start something to expose our schools, our coffees to the world. Okay. All right.
Exactly.
So I think
We can't wait, man.
Sure. So I think that's it for today's session. I think allow me say a good evening, good night, wherever you're watching from. And just in case you have been watching this video live on Facebook, make it a point to share it to your friends and the friends of your friends, not forgetting your grandparents to watch this video so that they can easily learn how their grandchildren are making the best out of the coffees. Because remember, this is the best cash crop that we get to sell in our country, Uganda. So I think that is it, guys. Allow me sign out because I want to visit one of the fellow Ugandans in Saudi Arabia today.
Okay.
All
Till
right.
in peace and love.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, guys.
See
Thanks a
you,
lot.
inshallah.
All right. See you too, inshallah.